make this happen. This is a bench plate. And with the bench plate, this is great because we're using these carving tools. Most of them are like really sharp, and you can create some damage if you're holding it the wrong way. You don't want to be holding where your fingers are in the way of a slice. That is bad because you can accidentally slip, and next thing you know, you've taken a good chunk out of your hand. That's why the bench plate is here, so that you can carve towards the plate and you don't have to worry about taking your finger off. So it's really nice, and it's, not going anywhere. Once you have your design all cut out, poof, presto, movie magic. All of the parts that are carved out are going to remain the color of the paper. And in this instance, I'm just using some white printmaking paper. Some paper's really thin, it holds the ink better. And to get this set up, once you have your block, your image design, only use where it says Speedball Block Printing Ink. Please do not use acrylic, because acrylic will dry on here and create an uneven surface, and it's just not fun. You're going to just apply. Didn't mean to leave you hanging. Sorry. Apply just a little bit. As you keep working, sometimes we can add an extender, but you will hear, this is important, you'll hear this tacky sound. And I'm not quite there yet, but you keep going perpendicularly to cover the surface evenly. Now, you're not going to, it's really tempting to want to throw this on here and use it like a stamp pad. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we're trying to coat the brayer evenly so it's not clumpy and lumpy. And if it's too wet, it doesn't work. That's why we're waiting for this smacking sound. Start to hear that? That means it's ready. Just a little bit. I like making sure it's ready. Okay. So once it's ready, you've got that little smacking sound, you can very carefully roll it on. Normally I would have a newspaper down just in case I went shoop, so that I don't have to wipe the table up, but I am just going along, forward and backwards, perpendicular, coating the surface evenly. And that's nice and even. I'm going to lay this down. Please use this so that you're not creating an edge of ink. Very carefully take the paper. You can mark the paper if you want, or you can kind of eyeball so that you've got it centered. Place it on here. Now the trick is to rub evenly around to get the ink dispersed. I do have some of these printing presses where you can very carefully, it will stick it in place and push it down, and it works nicely. Or if these are all taken and you don't have access to it, you can very carefully flip it over. Use your hand on this side, or you can use a ruler, something to just push to get the details, and carefully pull it up. And you might have to do it a few times. If you're playing around with color consistency, you're not going to get it even the first time. Sometimes it takes a few more tries. But the neat thing is, once you start playing around with your inking, I can use this and go and redo it. I can do a ghost print where once you've done it once, you can put it down again. A ghost print is where you get a lighter, print. I'm just going to use my fingers to push this. Let's see, peek at it. Okay. What's happening is somebody used, they didn't clean it off, so I'm actually picking up some of the ink that was left on the stamp. Remember how it was yellow and red? Now that the green has activated it, I get some of the red, but that's a ghost print, so you can see it's lighter, and I could add a different print. I could take this image and actually put it on top and have that two-tone effect. If I had this stamp, which is around here somewhere. So you can share with one another and embed.
How did they do this one?
This one was actually a face stamp. They did first with the blue, and then the angel stamp was done with the pink on top of it.
What was the...
So if you take the pink layer off that's making this purple here, there would have been just a simple face stamp. And because the face stamp, she carved everything out besides the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. That's why it appears so bright. It's actually that blue paper. It just appears brighter because the surface around it is purple.
It looks like there's like a spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something you can play with too. If you've got, and we do have the face stamp floating around here somewhere, but you can kind of do that with a background. You could carve away circles or lines or shapes to create a background ghost print, and then put an image on top of it. And there's a couple different, we begin, after you've got a couple prints, I will show you how to do a rainbow roll.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Where you transition, you can transition the background. In some cases, let's say this person wanted yellow, they could have actually inked this entire thing yellow and done a yellow rectangle, and then done the other colors on top of it, and that would have made this color yellow. So you can create a different colored background. Yeah, rainbow rolls will be video 2 once we get started. Questions, because that's a lot to take in. Now, if I'm going along and using this and I want it to stay wet longer, because I know I'm going to be experimenting, simple vegetable glycerin. It's kind of like Vaseline, but it's actually a sugar-based substance. You just add a drop to it, and it extends the sticky time. Because this is water-based, it will dry really quickly. And you can hear it already. It's really slick. So I would have to add more to it to get it going. There goes my stickiness. Other questions? No? Please, safety, do not put your hands in front where you're carving. Kind of like the X-Acto blade. Use your bench hook. Okay. Demo over.